Hi everyone, so today I really wanted to talk about my first year at college and the experience that I had, and everything just about college this year, how it's been for me, things like that. And obviously you would have been able to tell that by the title. And I do have a few notes in here, but I think most of it is going to be from the heart, from my experience. It's going to be all of my opinion. It's basically just going to be everything that I've been through this year at college and how it's been and everything like that. So let's get started. So I don't think I've ever said this in any of my other videos before, but I have been doing Foundation Studies Entry 3 for this past year, and obviously I'm not going to say the campus or anything like that because that gives away which college I go to. I'm not going to say anything like that. But that was the course that I did this year. I did Foundation Studies, Entry Level 3. And overall, I think that I've benefited from it because I've made quite a few friends, and I've had some close friends as well, but obviously I'll get to talking about that in a minute. So in September, I started the year thinking, this is the year that I passed my English. That was my main goal for this year. It's now June and I'm pretty much done for the entire year. GCSE exams would be right now, as I'm filming this week that I'm filming. GCSE exams are taking place. And I'm not taking my English exams. So I guess that's kind of the first thing that I would really like to talk about. And so let's start at the beginning, shall we? So when I enrolled on the course, I was told that I didn't need to take maths at all because I had already passed my GCSE maths. I managed to get a 5, which I was really happy with, in the last academic year. I was really happy with that. So I enrolled for Foundation Studies and I was told that I didn't need to do maths, so it wouldn't be on my timetable, whereas I did need to do English because I hadn't passed that. And so in September, I started going to my English classes, and they weren't GCSE classes because I didn't know that I was enrolled on the GCSE classes, so I didn't go to those classes. But I did go to the functional skill classes. And, my god, this is quite a long experience. It's been like a recurring thing this entire year. So I think it was last year that my mum kept getting emails from the college saying that I had not attended the English GCSE classes. So she then emailed my personal tutor to find out what was going on, and it was in fact, and what had actually happened was I had been enrolled on the GCSE classes, but I was not told at all, and it was not on my timetable either, and that's because it wasn't in Foundation Studies that the classes were in. It was like obviously the actual English, maths and English department in the college, so it wasn't on my timetable, so I wasn't going. I was just going to my functional skill classes. And I guess long story short, I just kept going to the functional skill classes. I was told like where the GCSE English room was, who my tutor was supposed to be, like where and when, and everything like that. And I was asked if I wanted someone to go with me, and like as in a learning mentor, and I said, yeah, I'll go if a learning mentor comes with me. But because that didn't happen, I didn't go to the lesson. But I knew the times, I knew when, what, where. I just didn't go to the classes. And now it's June, and the reason why I'm not taking the exams this year is because I haven't been doing the GCSE English syllabus, so I feel like there's just not much point, because I haven't been going to the classes, the actual GCSE classes, even though I've been going to the functional skill classes. I just feel like it wouldn't benefit me going to the exams when I've been kind of doing functional skill practice exams. And where was I? I hadn't been going to the actual lessons, so there was like no point in me going to the exams, if you know what I mean. So that was the English side of it. And then because I wasn't doing maths, when it was timetabled for others, I had a free period. So Monday afternoon from 12:45 to about 2:15, 2:30, that whole time I would have free. And then on a Thursday morning from 9 o'clock to about 10:30, let's just say 10:30 because it's easier, I would have a free period. And basically this whole year I haven't been going into college for 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning. There has been one time where I got the about 7:40 bus, I think, so that I would be in college by 9. But I think there was only one time when that happened. The rest of the time I've been going in for about 9:30 or 10:45, 10:30 sort of time. So I've also taken advantage of that time recently to write the definition of love. And I will get to that in a minute actually, because we do have quite a few things to go through in this video. Well, I do anyway. I have quite a few things that I'd like to talk about. So that was maths and English, and then the actual course. From September to December, I made the worst choice for myself, and I put myself in a really uncomfortable situation. And that was art. Visual art I hated, because I didn't really know what else I'd be interested in. We were basically choosing our options, and a lot of people went for mixed media art, and then I think a lot of people had these different expectations and no one really thought much of it. There were a lot of people in that art class, and I think from December, and I think from this year, there has been just a very little group of people that have been going to art again, and one of them was not me. So yeah, that happened. There was another option. What did I do on a Thursday? Oh yeah, on a Thursday afternoon I chose music, and for the first few weeks, it must have been from September to October, or September to like the beginning of November, we had an actual teacher that was qualified in music, and then she left because she got a permanent contract on a different campus. So she left, and we had a different teacher that had nothing that had like no experience in music whatsoever. So that sucked. And then finally, this year for options has been very different, and I've actually enjoyed myself a lot more this year when it has come to my options. On a Monday afternoon, I chose business management, I think it was, yeah. Business management on a Monday afternoon, and then on a Thursday afternoon I have been doing customer service, which is, basically business management and customer service do come quite closely together, obviously. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on that. The actual course pretty much only consisted of that. There were like different core units that we were doing. I think there were 6 different units that we did. We did college induction, young people's law and order, healthy lifestyles. What came after that? I think introduction to like music and performance skills was another one. And then there was the introduction to food, drink and cooking unit. So that's only 5. I don't know what the 6th one is. Oh yeah, by the way, this plaster on my thumb, I basically pulled back my skin and it's now an open wound that keeps catching on everything. And so now we move on to more of a chronological events part of the year. So this is kind of like mainly in terms of friendships and relationships, building relationships with like personal tutors and different tutors, not as in the kind of the romantic relationship that you have with like a boyfriend and girlfriend, but just kind of like the professional relationships and the kind of like the teacher-student kind of relationship, if you know what I mean. Not like in a romantic way, but just you have different kind of relationships, which I have been taught this year, and I kind of already knew before, so yeah. But in September, I kind of started the year being like, you know, I'm not going to really like get close to anyone. I'm just going to focus on myself, focus on passing my English, which I didn't do, but everything happens for a reason, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay that I haven't passed my English this year, because I can do it next year, which I will go on to talk about after I've gone through this like chronological event thing. September, that was kind of the attitude I had. I was very shy, and I thought that it was just going to be a year where I was going to pass my English with colourful butterflies and whatnot, but I didn't. We're just not really getting close to anyone, not really making any friends. That was the expectation that I had. It was a very low expectation, which I guess was a good thing, because then it meant that I wasn't going to get any, it then meant that I didn't get close to anyone, really. And then in October I started making friends, and they weren't close friends, they were just kind of like friends that were there. I also had an incident with my knee where I had my Explorer Scout hoodie on, my Explorer Scout jumper on, like bright blue. Shall I say this? Yeah, like bright blue. Probably why people saw me. And basically I was walking from college to the bus stop to go home, and I had my hands in my pocket. It was one of those, like, it's one of those big pockets that you get like the front of a jumper. And I had my hands in my pocket, and as I was walking, I think I tripped on my own foot. And if this is concrete and this was my knee, I smacked my knee on the concrete and it bloody hurt. I cannot tell you what actually happened. Should I get a picture up for you? I'm going to get a picture up and show you, because it was pretty bad. And basically I smacked my knee on the concrete and people saw me because I was obviously in town, I just got straight back up and carried on walking, and my knee hurt. My knee bloody hurt. Where's the spider gone? Where's that spider? I do actually have a picture of my knee. And then I got on the bus. My knee was still hurting, so I was kind of like, I was kind of bending it, but not really. It was kind of like, you know when you like have like a knee injury and you can't really bend your knee properly? That's what I was doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I basically couldn't bend my knee properly. Look away now if you are very squeamish, because I'm going to show you the picture. That was what my knee looked like. I'm just going to put this in front of my face right now. I'm going to put it away now so you can look back if you looked away. Basically, it happened on a Tuesday, which was, I was kind of grateful about, because that then meant that I had the next day off. And actually what ended up happening was I had to go to the hospital because it looked so bad, as you would have seen if you didn't look away. I went to the hospital. I think a doctor checked it over, or a doctor or a nurse. And obviously the doctor was worried that I could have broken my knee. So I had an x-ray in the radiology ward or department, I don't know, but I had an x-ray. And I think that was pretty much it. And then when we like had a look, you could see the bruising. There was just like this, you could see the fluid around my knee. It looked very bad, I have to say, and it was also painful, very painful. But I think that kind of went down within a week. Oh, by the way, it was my this leg that I smacked on concrete. This knee, my left knee. So that happened in October, and because I started making friends at college, I was kind of getting to know a lot more people. I was talking to a lot more people. Not a lot more people. I was talking to more people, getting to know them, that kind of thing. But I did not get close to them at all. I just kind of, there was kind of this barrier between me and these people that was like, I'm not that interested in you and I don't really want to ever be. So that happened, and I think now moving on to the biggest part of the year. This is going to be interesting. October, I believe, actually it might have been November. It was October, November sort of time. There was this boy, and there still is this boy in my tutor group. Just one day, I remember him walking into class late, being like, and he was asked why he was late, and he said, oh, you know, just panic attacks, like so casually. And I was like, I feel for this guy so much. And I think that same day I messaged him saying like something along the lines of, I like you, in a friendly way, or just, I liked that he was so open about his anxiety, and I think that's why I started opening up a lot more about my anxiety. So that happened in October. We were talking for like a month maybe. I don't really remember, but I remember him saying something like, oh, no one would date me, like something like that. And I actually said that I would. I don't know why I said it, but it's just kind of one of those things that happens. Those things that you don't really think about too much. So I said that. We were just messaging each other on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger. And I don't know why I've got my phone here with me. Oh yeah, I showed you that picture. So we were messaging for a while, and then in November, it was like at the very beginning, I think it was the 1st, I actually had an orthodontist appointment. He was actually working at that time, around that sort of time. He had like a part-time job at McDonald's, and so he said that, you know, he'd take the day off, and we arranged to go to Pizza Hut after my orthodontist appointment. It didn't happen, and I think, you know, looking back at it now, just like everything happens for a reason. And after that happened, things escalated. Like, we may have not gone on that date, but we still liked each other. There was still that feeling there. And then as it got further into November, I actually found out that I kind of knew about his depression. Like, we were talking about that as well, not just anxiety. And I think it must have been like November, December sort of time, like maybe the end of December, the end of November, beginning of December. And he told me that he was overdosing on these pills every day, slowly killing himself. I know I shouldn't be like that. It is very serious. It is a very serious topic, and I know that. And that led me to actually telling our personal tutor, which he said that I shouldn't have done, but I just knew in my heart that it was the right thing to do. And I was actually talking to this boy's like friend as well. Not boy, but like, I was talking to his friend as well at the time. And then December, his friend just went quiet. I didn't really talk to him, but I was talking to the boy that I started talking to in the first place in December. And I realise now that I was slowly going downhill. You know, like those roller coasters that go up, like it was kind of like me. It's kind of like I was going down a hill like that. So obviously Christmas came around. It was pretty much dead month for me, because obviously in November I was doing NaNoWriMo, and I didn't really win it, but I did in a way, because I was still writing. And then in December I was writing a little bit, every so often, like once a week maybe. But the main focus was on Christmas and buying Christmas presents for family and everything like that. I realise I still have so much to talk about. So let's move on. So November and December, that happened. I was like down on a roller coaster. I realise how weird this sounds. But yeah, yeah, moving on. And then January rolled around, and at the beginning of the month, my first day back at college, my first day at college of 2018, basically what happened was my left ear popped in the afternoon. I was really tired, and then on the next day, because the first day back was a Thursday, so on the Friday, you know, everyone went off, my mum went to work, brother and sister at school. I was at home on my own, and then when my mum got back, she saw the state that my face was in. I believe I didn't really film anything around that time, or if I did, it was pre-filmed. The entire side, this entire side on my face was very swollen. It looked a bit droopy as well. Like, even this side of my nose looked a bit wonky. And I also couldn't close my left eye properly, and I still feel like I I still can't do that. Yep, I can. I can definitely close this eye properly. So, I'm glad that was over. Basically what happened was, I went to the doctor that evening because my mum phoned the doctor that afternoon that she got back. And I was asked if I could like raise my arms like this, and I could. I guess they thought that maybe I could have had a stroke, but I hadn't. Went to the doctor, found out that I had Bell's palsy in this side of my face. Why did it have to be my face? And then the week after that, I did not go to college at all, and I was in the hospital on Monday. Basically in the ENT department or ward, like ears, nose, throat, and I also had a blood test, and so that happened in January. I was still talking to that boy, and that was pretty much everything in January. Oh, and in January, I also found out that I had a vitamin B12 deficiency. But I think we should move on now. So, in February, I don't know why, but I just knew that the worst was yet to come. In January, I had changed my diet to try and get some vitamin B12 in me. We'll get to that in a minute. So, in February, I obviously came up with the idea for the definition of love. And I was developing that throughout February, throughout March, throughout April. I was planning that for 3 months. 3 months straight I was planning that. So while I was doing that, the boy that I started talking to, we started going out. And we became boyfriend and girlfriend on the 9th of February. But we like made it Facebook official on the 16th. God, I just had a memory, but it's okay now. I do that when I like have like a flashback or a daydream. More like a flashback. When I get a flashback, I zone out of what I'm doing and I focus in on what happened in that flashback. We were boyfriend and girlfriend for a month. And I actually helped him, or I tried helping him, to learn guitar. Do you know how painful it is to watch a beginner struggle with the guitar? It's just slightly frustrating and very painful to watch how slowly they learn. Just like, oh god, when are they gonna like, when are they gonna actually start picking everything up? It's frustrating. It's frustrating. That happened in February. And then the dreaded month. So in March, at the beginning, I was not happy. There was just something in me that made me very unhappy. And actually in March, I had another blood test to see if my levels of vitamin B12 had went up or gone up, whatever you want to say. And they hadn't. They had actually gone down. So then I found out that I needed to get injections in my arms. I've already had one in this arm. I've had one in this arm. The next one will be in this arm, I betcha. March, the dreaded month. I was very unhappy. And I think looking back at it now, it was because of the deficiency. And though it's not an excuse for what I had done, it explains a lot. And actually in March, it snowed. It snowed in March. I know, it's stupid, isn't it? I wish it didn't happen, but it did. Everything happens for a reason, and I just need to keep telling myself that. But March, I had this college trip. So I was away from my boyfriend, which was okay, I guess, but I was just really not happy. So, and the snow actually kept us from seeing each other as well. So in March, I went on this college trip I realised I was probably quite quiet. But I got on with the activities. I did what had to be done, and I just got on with it. I got on with the activities, and I actually got given a chocolate bar at the end, like saying like most improved or most into all of the activities, because I did all of them. There was caving, there was rock climbing. I had so much fun on that trip, but it still didn't make a difference to my happiness. And looking back at it now, I was very depressed, very anxious. I was on edge pretty much every day. My mood had gotten to the point where nothing, absolutely nothing, would cheer me up. March, I didn't like March. Me and my boyfriend broke up. And it was a decision, even though he broke up with me, I feel like it was a decision that we both made. We knew it had to be done. And it wasn't just me that was feeling depressed either, or feeling anxious either, because he was too. And I think that both of our symptoms it just didn't go well at all because of what we were both going through. In March, it was one of the worst months of my life. So yeah, March was just a terrible month. And I think it was mainly because of my B12 deficiency, the snow, and just feeling lonely in general. So that all happened in March, and then in April we are coming back up. And I was basically becoming a lot more happier. I started finding my love for writing again, because I started did I start writing in April? Yeah, I started writing in April because it was Camp NaNoWriMo. No, I didn't start writing in April. I started writing in May. April, I was doing the outline for the definition of love, and I think that kind of helped me, but there were still some incidents that happened at college. Obviously, I'm not going to really talk about them, but they were between my ex-boyfriend and his friend or mate, whatever you want to say. They both didn't really know what was going on with me. I hadn't really talked about it with them. I tried explaining, but it's just kind of one of those things that, you know, when you do something wrong, like, no one's gonna listen to you, are they? It's just one of those things. But over time it gets better. So in April, my anxiety started calming down. I still had quite a few like negative thoughts, but I was like trying to get past them. But even though I had calmed down, there was still a bit of anxiety and depression then. For the majority of April, I was just really focused on Camp NaNoWriMo and my outline for the definition of love. So then May, which is the last month I'm going to talk about. Jesus Christ, this video is a long one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, okay? So May. So I am going to talk about what happened in May. So the day before, so the last day of April, my ex-boyfriend had his birthday. Around the time I was contemplating whether or not to get him a card. And I was just like, I don't really think it's a good idea. I don't know if he's going to appreciate that. And then in May, a few days later, I actually found that he didn't have the best birthday at all. And I felt so bad. So I literally spent my lunchtime that day that I had found out about what happened on his birthday. I believe it was a Tuesday. I spent that Tuesday lunchtime, instead of eating lunch, I walked to the shop and got him a card. Like, I know I was a pretty terrible person in March, which I don't want to really talk about on here, obviously, because that's not who I am now. So I walked to the shop, got him a card, and then when I got back to college, I sat down and I wrote in it just kind of an inspirational, kind of motivational little pep talk, I guess. I don't know, I just kind of wrote how I felt about him at the time, I think. And I remember writing the last 3 words, stay weird, and then his name. Obviously I'm not going to say his name on here, I want to keep it all private. I'm sure he's probably watching this. If you are, thank you so much for changing my life. You are one of my biggest inspirations, and you are just truly one amazing person. I've been filming for longer than I wanted to. I've been sat here for almost an hour, Jesus Christ. That was pretty much it. Oh yeah, and the card. A few more issues did occur, but they were all like solved. I also just want to say a very quick thank you to my ex-boyfriend's friend, which was one of my friends, one of my closest friends, that I made this year at college. Thank you so much. You have no clue how much you both mean to me. The experiences we had weren't the best, but I got something positive out of that. I just realised that you were the kind of people that I very much needed in my life. So yeah, that is pretty much everything. There was also one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that is my plans for my next college year. So, my plan for the next college year is music level 2. I am so sorry that this video is so long, but I hope it gave you a bit of an insight of what actually happened this year. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also subscribe down below. Make sure to subscribe down below and ding that bell right next to it to be notified every single time I upload. I usually upload every Thursday and Sunday, but this was a bonus video for you this week. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video.